Hello, I am Dad of War, and I'm a big God of War fan. Recently, I've been thinking a lot about how time works in God of War 2018. This led me to come up with a theory. This theory is not based on any spoilers that were released or leaked, and I think my theory on how time works in God of War 2018 will change how we look at the game. For the purposes of this theory, we need to establish a few baselines. Baseline 1. All realms are located on the same axis and time flows through all realms at the same time. This means that there are no pocket realms and no realm has its own timeline. Baseline 2. Midgard is located right in the middle of all realms, with some realms above and some below. Therefore, for the purposes of this theory, we will consider Midgard time as our baseline. This is important since most of our adventures happen in Midgard. Also, Midgard has mid in its name, therefore it must be in the middle of all realms, right? Baseline 3. Time flows slowest in Helheim. This is established upon our first visit to Helheim when Mimir says the following. Time doesn't move the same between all realms, and Hel is much slower than Midgard. Therefore, for the purposes of this theory, we will assume that Helheim sits at the bottom of all realms. Helheim also happens to be the Norse representation of Hel, and Hel is usually depicted as being below everything. From gameplay standpoint, slowing down time in here makes sense. As Atreus' father, we don't have to rush through this new zone right after arriving here for the first time. Instead, we can explore this realm freely and take as much time as we want. Lastly, it makes sense from lore standpoint, since whoever runs Hel would want to torture souls here for as long as possible. Baseline 4. In this game, time flows fastest in Jotunheim. We know this because after visiting Jotunheim in-game and returning to Midgard, we are notified by Mimir that more time has passed than you likely realize. For the purposes of my theory, we will say that Jotunheim sits at the top of all realms, second only to Asgard. Therefore, time flows second fastest in Jotunheim, fastest being Asgard. Realm positioning can be found in a cloth map found in God of War Ragnarok Collectors and Jotnar editions. Let's recap about what we talked so far. Baseline 1. Time flows through all realms at the same time. Baseline 2. Midgard is located in the middle of all realms. Baseline 3. Time flows slowest in Helheim. Baseline 4. Time flows second fastest in Jotunheim. After those 4 baselines, my theory about time is this. I believe that Jotnars do not have the power of foresight, and instead, Jotunheim is at a special advantage. Due to their placements within the realms, Jotnar simply look down on all the other realms. This can only happen here and not in any other realm. Because time flows faster in Jotunheim, they watch events happen on fast forward speed, and instead of foreseeing the events, they simply document what might happen if everything proceeds as Jotnar saw. This also explains how Odin, who is one realm up in Asgard, was able to wipe out Jotnars in their own realm of Jotunheim, because they were unable to see the attack coming and therefore unable to prepare for it or even win it. It is generally a bad idea to fight someone who knows what you are bringing to the fight or might even see the fight ahead of time. This adds irony to how obsessed Odin is with gaining this power of foresight to change his own fate when it doesn't even exist. I believe that Jotnar wanted to simply be left alone and live in their realm, while Odin misunderstood what he thought was the power he needed to prevent Ragnarok and change his own fate. There are some evidence that support this theory from outside the game. For example, in God of War Lore and Legends book, Atreus remarks that his mother would disappear for days and at a time over a week. Also, Cory Barlog explains in his spoiler mode God of War with Cory Barlog interview posted in 2018 that there is a technique of communicating with an audience by changing the color of the material or certain objects to indicate that this is where you need to go. This is called visual language by developers, and in God of War 2018, the visual language was placed by Faye. Combining these two evidence and my theory, I believe that Faye was going to Jotunheim to watch the journey of Kratos and Atreus and would then go back to Midgard to provide clues to Kratos and Atreus to help them on their journey. This is possible not because Faye has the power of foresight, but because while in Jotunheim, Faye was able to see the events unfold in Midgard. This also means that Faye knew what is going to happen with Kratos and Atreus during Ragnarok as it is depicted on a mural in Jotunheim at the end of the game. Some of you might say, but Dad of War, it's just a game, and you're trying to make sense of a story that has magic and features a fictional Greek demigod who ascended to the status of God of War, and then proceeded to kill Greek pantheon, and later found himself in Norse mythology. I understand that this might all just be explained as, well, it was magic by God of War Ragnarok story, or ignored completely. But I wholeheartedly believe that these clues were left here for a reason and are not going to be ignored. So what did you think of my theory? Do you agree or disagree? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. Also, if you like my video, please consider subscribing and leaving a like as I will be making more of these videos soon.